Perfect.
Fabulous. Now, before we get started on the Unplugged section, as a primary school teacher, I love nothing more than an overarching theme. Something I can use to pull all learning together across all areas of the curriculum. And the global goals are ideal for this.
And this evening, we are going to be focusing on global goal number 15, life on land. And you might be thinking, how can coding help with that?
That's what we're here to explore. We'll start with an unplugged activity to understand some key concepts, then move on to the microgrid to create a project related to goal 15.
Now, before we embark on any coding, it is really useful to begin with an unplugged activity. This no-tech active approach allows your learners to really understand the key concepts at play without going anywhere near a device. You can see on the Miro the outcomes this type of activity covers.
So this type of activity develops an understanding of computational thinking, and this is key in computing science. If the students can understand the why and how underneath their code, they will be more able to solve problems and fix issues they come across.
There are a variety of unplugged resources available online, and here you can see some of the places that provide them. I love starting with an unplugged activity with my primary class. It gets the kids up and moving about and is a really useful starting point to refer back to when you get down to coding.
Today, our focus is going to be on counting. Counting is a fundamental part of computing science, and there are lots of ideas to introduce this concept in your class. But we are going to start with a game of rock, paper, scissors to understand the concept of keeping score and variables. We'll track our scores and then discuss what the different parts of our score sheet represent in terms of coding. Now, in class, I would pair pupils up with a mini whiteboard and pen and introduce the task. For the purpose of this activity, Maggie and I are going to take on specific roles. I will be the teacher and Maggie will be our enthusiastic learner. So, Maggie, what information do you think we need to gather when we are playing rock, paper, scissors?
Who wins for me, because I'm competitive.
Yes, for sure. So we definitely need to know the number of wins. But what else could we possibly collect?
Maybe the number of ties, the number of draws.
Yeah, fabulous. Now, you'll see on the Miro, we have a scoreboard all set up and ready to go, as we would get our learners to do in class. It has the names on it and the possible outcomes for our rock, paper, scissors matches. Now, there's one more thing. How are we going to collect the amount of wins and ties?
We could use tally marks.
Great idea. And that'll be nice and easy to keep score. Now, to make life easy, we've got a pre-recorded video of some games of rock, paper, scissors, thanks to my lovely children at home. In class, you could tell the pupils to play 10 games and record their results on their boards. Now, when using Miro, you will each individually need to press play on the video on your own device to watch it. Unfortunately, we can't play it for everyone all at once. This will be the same with any of the other videos that we watch in the session tonight. And as we watch this video, you can keep score at home if you'd like, but if we can all press play on the video in the top right-hand corner of that frame on Miro now, you can have a little look and watch some rock, paper, scissors in action.
It's where you see the eye. If you click on that, you should be able to see.
All right, I'll give you a quick extra seconds there just in case you're not quite finished. There we go. I had to stop it there before, like most things in my house, it descended into violence. And I'm very grateful to my children for helping me out with that one. So that was a great game. So now let's talk about what we have learned as a result of that. We can just join the presentation again.
Yeah.
And we'll follow along with Maggie who'll. Yep, perfect, thank you. So let's talk about what we've learned. We're going to have a look at this example scoreboard that we have here. So what sort of information have we gathered and how did we do it?
So how many wins and ties there were. We could use we used the tally marks to keep score and updated it after every rock, paper, scissors game. And player one won that round.
Yeah, he definitely does. Now, fantastic. Now, this is when we'd want to start to introduce some of the vocabulary that we will revisit when we come to the coding activity later. Will player one always win 5 games and player two only win 2?
No.
So those numbers could change depending on the game. And that is what is known as a variable. The number can vary and change each time we play. But there is some information that didn't change throughout the game. It stayed the same. What do you think that could be?
The names of the players.
Indeed. So they are known as our constants, and this information doesn't change. Now let's say we want our pupils to play another game of rock, paper, scissors. Let's have a look at the quick video on the Miro to see another concept introduced. Remember, you'll have to press play on your own device to watch it, or you can watch it through the Google Chat, or the Google Meet, sorry. And I've asked the pupils to get their board ready to play another round of rock, paper, scissors. So let's see what they have to do. That's a very quick one. So Maggie, what did they have to do before we started our new game?
Well, they had to wipe out the old scores to start again.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. If they don't wipe out the old scores, they're going to be continuing counting from the last set, which wouldn't be very fair, and I'm sure we'd all hear about it. Our variables had to be reset back to 0. So in that short unplugged activity, we learned that some things can stay the same, the constants, and some things they'll change, the variables. We then use tally marks to keep score and update the variable after each game. And this is a simple way to represent the numerical variable. We also learned that before the next round of the game, we must reset the variables we are using to count, and they have to go back to 0.
This can apply to code we create too. The vocabulary of things like constants, variables, and reset can be introduced without going near a device.
Now, here at the end, we have a teal frame in Miro with some post-its for you to add any feedback or questions that you have on our Unplugged section. We'll give you a couple of minutes to add anything, and if Alia or Brendan or Ryan can keep an eye on the board to see if we've got any questions to look at, that would be ace. Oh, there we go. I can see that now.
Yeah, that's us now.
I've got too many screens. I don't know where I'm looking.
Yeah, so that's the Miro board back on the Google Meet now. So you might be able to click and drag a sticky note there and give us some feedback or give us any questions so far.
That's a great point. Thank you for, I think it was Connor who posted about resetting scores or variable values is often forgotten about. I have to admit that was something that I hadn't quite grasped. Somebody else said that that's a really important part, especially when we're starting to have those conversations and make those links between the unplugged activity and the coding as well, because I think when we do unplugged activities, you're just instinctually doing it. But actually drawing attention to that reset and that being something that's part of the coding process as well, I think is really important.
Yeah, at different points in the game, I think that was Ruth that pointed that player one and player two may be in the lead. You know, the lead can change as the game goes on. So player one could win the first round, then player two could win 2 or 3 rounds, and then player one wins all the others and therefore wins. So that's an interesting point to take there as well.
You're fitting a lot into that post-it there, Brendan. Good job.
Yeah, so sometimes we've got a winning streak rather than...
Yeah, that's exactly it. It doesn't go turnabout. Otherwise, it would be very much fun, I guess, to play rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
And you'll find that very same thing when we get to our coding part of our workshop tonight as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I think what we're trying to show there, the idea of kind of adding one onto a count, it's something that we do in computing an awful lot and is used an awful lot that we maybe don't realise that bit of code is behind the scenes. And that's what we're kind of focusing on tonight. Yeah, we can only win 1 point at a time. Okay, that's really good feedback. Thanks very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep, and I think we're now ready to move on.